Under the bright lights of Dodger Stadium, on a cool October night that seemed endless, Shohei Ohtani created a baseball story that will be retold for generations. What began as Game 5 of the World Series turned into one of the most dramatic, exhausting, and awe-inspiring spectacles in Major League Baseball history. Every inning felt like a chapter in a novel, and Ohtani stood at the center of it all, calm, focused, and fiercely determined. The moment he stepped onto the field, fans could sense something extraordinary in the air. The crowd was electric, waving Japanese flags, shouting, "Ohtani! Ohtani!" with voices echoing across the stadium. Even before the first pitch, the energy felt different. Everyone knew that this night could become historic, but no one could predict just how far it would go. In his first at-bat, Ohtani showed his sharp eye and patience, drawing a walk after an 8-pitch battle. The opposing pitcher looked unsettled. It wasn't just Ohtani's presence, it was his aura. He radiated confidence. When he reached first base, the fans roared. It wasn't a hit yet, but everyone could feel the pressure building. Then, in the third inning, the first explosion happened. A 98-mile-per-hour fastball came in high and inside, and Ohtani turned on it with that unmistakable swing, smooth, powerful, and lightning fast. The ball rocketed into the night sky and disappeared into the right field bleachers. His second home run of the World Series. The stadium shook. Cameras flashed like fireworks, and Ohtani trotted around the bases with quiet dignity, head slightly bowed, eyes forward. The legend was growing, pitch by pitch. In the fifth inning, Ohtani came up again. The pitcher tried a breaking ball away, but Ohtani stayed with it and lined it sharply into left field for a double. The crowd erupted again. It wasn't just another hit, it was a statement. He wasn't satisfied with one big swing. He wanted to dominate every at-bat. The Dodgers dugout cheered, players grinning and shaking their heads in disbelief. By the seventh inning, Ohtani had already reached base 4 times, 2 hits and 2 walks. His plate discipline was surgical. Each pitch seemed to slow down for him, as if the game obeyed his rhythm. Opposing pitchers tried everything: fastballs, sliders, curves, even quick pitches. Nothing worked. Ohtani saw through it all. The ninth inning arrived with the score tied 4-4. Ohtani stepped into the box once more, the crowd on its feet. He took a deep breath, exhaled, and stared down the reliever. On the second pitch, he crushed another ball, a deep drive to left center field. The stadium froze as it soared higher and farther until it landed beyond the wall. His third home run of the World Series. The fans lost their minds. Ohtani's teammates poured out of the dugout to greet him at home plate. It felt like destiny unfolding before everyone's eyes. But the game wasn't over yet. What followed was pure baseball theater, inning after inning of tension, defense, and near misses. The game dragged on into the 18th inning, turning into a test of willpower. Players looked exhausted, but Ohtani remained sharp. Every time he stepped up, hope returned to Dodger Stadium. He reached base in every one of his 9 plate appearances, a feat so rare it seemed unreal. Ohtani's final hit came in the bottom of the 18th, with the score still tied. The count was full. The pitcher wound up, delivered, and Ohtani lined a laser to right center. The ball split the outfielders and rolled to the wall. The runner from first base turned on the Jets, rounding third as the crowd screamed. The relay throw came in, too late. The Dodgers won. A walk-off double. The stadium exploded in pure chaos and joy. Ohtani stood at second base, hands raised, face glowing with relief and pride. Teammates mobbed him, and the crowd chanted his name like a chorus echoing through history. After the celebration, Ohtani stayed on the field a moment longer. He gazed around the stadium, the fans still roaring, his name still echoing. You could almost see the emotion in his eyes, the realization that he had just delivered one of the greatest performances in postseason history. The cameras zoomed in on his face. He smiled, exhausted yet fulfilled. This was his masterpiece. Reporters later asked him how he managed to stay locked in for so long. Ohtani simply said, "I just focused on each pitch, one at a time. The rest took care of itself." It was a humble response, but everyone knew there was more to it: years of training, discipline, and an unshakable belief in himself. Fans online immediately flooded social media. "Ohtani is not human," one post said. "We're watching the best player in baseball history," another read. Clips of his home runs spread like wildfire, viewed millions of times within hours. Even rival players took to Twitter, expressing awe. "Respect to Shohei. That's greatness," one wrote. Baseball historians began comparing the night to Reggie Jackson's 3-homer game, to Kirk Gibson's limp-off homer, to David Freese's legendary comeback. Yet this felt different. Ohtani wasn't just hitting home runs, he was controlling the entire narrative of the game, inning after inning, for nearly 6 hours. The Dodgers manager later called it the most incredible performance I've ever seen. He added, it wasn't just about power. It was about heart, patience, and leadership. Ohtani carried us. Even his teammates, who see his brilliance every day, looked stunned. The broadcast replayed his hits one by one, each a piece of art. The first home run, majestic and effortless. The second, a perfect swing on a mistake pitch. The double, a laser into the gap. The final walk-off, the ultimate exclamation point. It was as if the baseball gods themselves had scripted it. Ohtani's parents, watching from Japan, were reportedly in tears. Japanese broadcasters replayed the highlights continuously, calling it the night of a lifetime. Children stayed up late, fans in Tokyo gathered at cafes, cheering each moment. For them, Ohtani wasn't just representing Japan, he was inspiring the world. By the next morning, every sports show in America led with the same story. Shohei Ohtani, the living legend. Analysts debated if this was the single greatest World Series performance ever. Statistics backed it up. 9 plate appearances, 9 times on base, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and a walk-off RBI. Numbers that defied belief. Even opponents couldn't help but admire him. The losing pitcher said, "You do everything right, and he still beats you. He's on another level." It was said without bitterness, just respect. Ohtani had transcended competition, he was a force of nature. In the clubhouse celebration, champagne sprayed, music blasted, and Ohtani laughed as his teammates poured bottles over his head. It was pure joy, the culmination of a lifetime of work. But even then, when asked how he felt, Ohtani replied, "We still have one more game to win." That was Shohei, focused, humble, relentless. Outside the stadium, fans lingered for hours. Some cried, some sang, many just stood, smiling, knowing they had witnessed something rare. In an era filled with highlights, this game stood apart, not just for what Ohtani did, but for how he did it, with grace, poise, and unshakable determination. It's said that baseball reveals character, and that night revealed Ohtani's greatness not as an athlete, but as a person. His humility after glory, his calm under pressure, his joy in teamwork, all combined to form a story no one will ever forget. In the end, that 18-inning epic wasn't just a game. It was a legend being written before our eyes. A story that will echo through the ages, reminding everyone why we love this sport, because sometimes, when the lights are brightest, one man can rise above it all and make time stand still. That man was Shohei Ohtani. And on that unforgettable October night, he didn't just play baseball. He became baseball.